welcome, ghouls, demons, and fellow weird ones. And we are, let's see, series time. We're doing a weird tale series on all of the books that I've self-published so far. So quit waving this thing at everybody. I have noticed I talk with my hands so much, it probably is like a weapon. Uh, anyway, we're on part 3. So the third book that I self-published, it's Elena's Enchantment, for my niece Elena, second-born niece, second-born daughter, second-born everything. And my older brother Matthew had Felicity, and then he had Elena, and then that's when my little brother had Carter, and then Sawyer came around, and then the twinsies came around. So there's like just my family tree order in that sense. But I think it also highlights the significance of the soul energy. I think you're born in your position in the family for a reason. Like, I was a middle child, but I was also I was the second child, but first daughter, first granddaughter, first niece. So there is an element of that, but I was technically the middle child and the second. And so I find that connection to Elena, who is a little Cancer baby. She is very Cancerian. I can't remember her moon sign off the top of I believe she's a Gemini moon. So Felicity, I'm pretty sure Felicity is a Gemini rising, and then Elena is a Gemini moon. Don't quote me on it. Not to spill their birth chart tea too much, but their astrology is deeply embedded in their story. I incorporate a lot of astrology into my writing, and so I like to express that while also hopefully maintaining spiritual privacy and protection. And that's why, like, I don't have anyone's chart memorized. Like, I can barely recall all of my own. Like, I know my big 3 very easily at this point after studying for as long as I have. But when it comes to other people's charts, it has like, it's a lot, right? I feel like you need that constant repetition in order for you to know everyone. Because I look at everyone's chart, it's a lot, but I want it to be very well documented that astrology is a key aspect to everything that I do, because I want to prove all of the fucking haters wrong. You talk shit about astrology and you get annoyed with how much I bring it up, because it is in everything and it's deeply significant. So with that, we have Elena's Enchantment. And I'm going to flip it around, show everyone the computer screen for what it's worth. And hopefully my physical copy situation will be resolved very soon. It just depends on, I guess, when any of y'all are watching this. So if you're early, you're early. If you're late, I'm glad you're here anyway. Rather be late than not show up at all, right? Okay. So Elena's Enchantment. Story behind this. Elena's Cancer. She's a very sensitive, soft, emotional, loving. I love Elena. She's so expressive and so funny. I obviously I love all my nieces and nephews so very much. I'm deeply connected to them. And I see their soul in such a beautiful way. And I'm so happy they're alive. I'm so excited to see what they're going to do in this world. And with that comes a lot of protection. And that goes into this story is I'm prefacing this about protection because I am insane. I am I'm a deeply protective being. Mama don't know shit to Tata. Okay? That's what my nieces call me. They call me Tata, and it doesn't matter. I'm just a deeply mama bear, motherly, protective person in general. I am psychotic when it comes to my dogs and my kitties. I'm absolutely insane when it comes to my nieces and nephews. I'm insane when it comes to anyone that I love and need to protect. Definitely have that within me. I'm a Cancer rising, Aquarius Mars. Who knows what could be the astrological reason behind that, except that it's just deeply who I am. And why that relates to this story is Elena calls me, and I talk to my girls, and Elena's telling me a story about school. Was she in I think she's in kindergarten at this time. It could have been first grade. It was a few years ago. It was at least, I want to say it was like a year before I wrote her story, or not too long before I wrote her story, but So same time I called Felicity and asked, because I'm doing it for all the girls, right? And getting that situated. So I knew Felicity gave me what she wanted, but I already knew what story I wanted to write for Elena. So she had input, but the direction, the intention of the story. And I think actually, okay, I think this is what started it. I think this is what started the desire to write a story for my nieces, is through the story with Elena. Pretty sure Elena initiated it, if my memory serves me correctly. That, like, it's kind of foggy on how all of this got started because I'm trying to reflect it. I know in my lunar memoirs, I probably talk about this in like a more present moment. So I apologize if like I have my sequencing out of order. I'm really trying to remember all of this, but Elena, I was talking to her on the phone, and this was before I even thought about writing anything. But she tells me that kids are bullying her. They're bullying her because she wants to play with bugs, and she's like a little Miss Nature girl, and she's different than these snotty nosed iPad children. Right? Let me be mean, because fuck these kids. Because you made my sweet little baby angel cancer baby cry. And she's sensitive. Do cancers cry? Yes. But I relate to her. Her sensitivity is such a superpower, and I deeply saw myself within her. And that's another reason I wanted to protect her the same way that I wish I protected myself and that others protected me. And her mom, my sister-in-law, her and I were on the same page. Like, we are going to, I never understood like an adult smacking a kid before, until I started dealing with my niece's bullies. And I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not beneath me to push a little kid down or scream at a child or something, like it brought up some intense emotions within me. I swear to God, she's just crying like, Tata, they were so mean. They didn't want to play with me. And I just wanted to, because I am weird. And oh, no, you're not weird. You are a unique, deeply connected to nature, beautiful goddess of a being. And fuck anyone who tells you otherwise. Like, I told her. So she's telling me that these kids are making fun of her because of that she likes bugs. And we call her E-Bug, Elena Bug. That's her nickname, and she loves bugs. Since she was 3 years old, I bought her a butterfly like every year for her birthday. She has a collection of the some mummified butterflies and these really pretty frames and stuff like that. So it's always been like a thing. And I was so angry that they were making fun of her. And just like hearing her cry, like it really bothered her. Like it was so unwarranted. I understood what she was saying. Well, I don't understand why they're mean. Like they're going out of their way to be mean to me. They could have just said no, but they're bullying her for being different and having unique interests, which I feel like more people should be interested in nature. This whole like human disconnection from nature is an abomination. And so my niece is not the weird one. All these other stupid fucking kids are the weird ones for not. I mean, I remember as a kid being interested in like outdoors. It wasn't weird to want to go look for roly-polies or ladybugs. But like, I don't know what was wrong with these snotty-nosed kids. Pissed me the fuck off. So I told her, I was like, you tell those kids that your Tata is a witch and she will curse them to be eaten by bugs in their sleep if they don't leave you alone. And if, from my understanding, she did, I don't know, she could have just been like humoring me, but when I talked to her later, I was like, did you tell those kids? I'm pretty sure she told those kids, and which is probably not like, maybe not the best thing, like, I'm cursing children. But they stopped bullying her. From my understanding, like she seemed to have an easier time. Things seemed to chill out. I'm sure there's other, you know, guidance and things that worked. And, my sister-in-law does an amazing job. I'm sure my brother like protected her. I'm sure they talked to the school. I'm sure things worked out outside of what I'm aware of. But I do how I have this conversation with Elena, and I just, to me, inspired a story. And so that could have been where I was like, I think like a few months after that, and I'm like going through my own personal journey and all these other insights that I'm having. I think that was just something that kind of connected and clicked together, where I was like, that's a good story. So I asked Elena, I was like, hey, remember this situation, I want that to be a story for you. Can I use that as a story? Because I want to talk about bullying, and I wanted it to be a story. Because I feel like a lot of stories about bullying don't teach kids to stand up for themselves. And I have a 3-strike rule that I like to teach. You're only the bigger person twice before you have permission to, within reason, be unhinged. You know what I mean? Like, all right, you hit me twice, I get to hit you the third time, and I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. Like that kind of mentality. And so I told her, I was like, can I do that? She said yes. I was like, thank you. What kind, like, she was so excited and on board because it was a real story. It was a real experience that she went through, and I was turning into a story, and I was going to help other kids. Like, she loved the concept of it. And I asked her what character she wanted to be. She goes, I want to be a witch. And I was like, you want to be a witch? Fuck yeah, I got so stoked. She's been into Halloween. She's been a vampire a couple of times. Like, she's definitely interested in that genre of things in a really fun way. Again, another aspect of me that are related to. I firmly believe that there are parts of me and my nieces. I'm an Aquarius sun, Leo moon, Cancer rising. Felicity's an Aquarius, Elena is a Cancer, and the twinsies are Leos. So you can't tell me that there isn't some karmic energetic and essence over there. Because I mean, especially with how my brother treated me, I firmly believe that he's learning some harsh lessons energetically through his daughters and like our similarities, and he's overall doing for the most part, a good job. But I give my sister-in-law a lot of credit for that in their own way. Anyway, and that's just some other like insights for me, I guess. But I got so excited. She wanted to be a witch, and not just any witch, a green witch. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to make you a nature witch who loves bugs, of course. So excited. Rock and roll, right? That's how her story developed. And I incorporated myself into the story because I mean, yeah, she's a witch and she's going to magic school, but it's not just like for witches, it's all different magic people, all of the different fairy tale, whimsical everythings, very Halloween town, very eclectic, mythical creature essence. She's going to sorcery school, and she's learning how to control her powers and embody herself in her role as a living being and as a green witch, right? And it goes into me telling her like, be the bigger person, which is ignore it. But you can only ignore people for so long before you have to make a stand for yourself. And I wanted her to realize that, especially as a Cancer, especially as someone who was constantly told that they needed to suck it up, shut up, be the bigger person. You don't always have to be confrontational. It's not that deep. All of the things that I heard, I didn't want her to have that. I wanted her to remember you are not a doormat. Yes, you can ignore it. And yes, because like when you're the bigger person for so long, then people start to make a fool out of you. It's like, oh, she'll just tolerate it. It's like, no, I'm not tolerating this. I'm just making better choices than you. I'm choosing to not let you affect me. I'm choosing to make a healthier, more positive choice. Instead of beating the shit out of you like I really want to, I'm ignoring you. But I'm letting you, like, metaphorically, I'm your punching bag metaphorically. And so it's like, there's that balance. And I really wanted to express that in the story. So it's like, nope, don't use your magic against anybody. Like, let it go. Give them a warning though. Like, hey, don't do that to me. Warning. Second strike. Hey, don't do that to me. Warning. Third time, you heard me, motherfucker. You obviously know what the fuck's going on and you don't care. So third strike, I get to execute force to my whatever I feel like is sufficient. And I wanted her to know that. And so in the story, there's a 3-strike rule, and she essentially does what I told her to do, which is curse everybody who fucked with her. And people witnessed her power. And hey, just because you're a soft, gentle, sensitive being doesn't mean you're not capable of great destruction when pushed to it. Like we all have choices, and choosing to be a loving, soft, sensitive person is a virtuous choice. I don't believe that we need to be hardened and shelled. I feel like that's a huge lesson of Cancerian energy and water sign energy, particularly. But definitely Cancer, who is a lot more nurturing and I feel like a little bit more tolerant than perhaps a Scorpio would be. And, Pisces would be more avoidant, I would suggest, or whatever, whatever the word is. And so yeah, so when it came to Elena, I really wanted her to remember that because she is such a sensitive little thing in the best way. She tells every time I talk to her, she's like, I miss you my whole life. I love you with my whole heart. And that love, that true raw emotion is so powerful. And I don't want her to ever lose sight of that. And I want her to have the inner strength to stand up to people. I don't want her superpower of sensitivity to become a burden. It disempowers her instead of empowers her. Because the fact that she's aware of that sensitivity, it gives her the ability to make choices for herself while also hopefully inspiring others to soften and make more emotionally sensitive decisions, so yeah, so I'll read the dedication for it. And yeah, she wanted her book to be, she's like purple and teal and like turquoise. Like she really liked that more like Easter pastel type colors, which to me really signifies her Gemini moon, if I'm even accurate in that. I'm so foggy on that, which is just interesting. But anyway, so her dedication for Elena's Enchantment by Sarah Odell. I would like to dedicate this poetic witch's tale to my beloved niece, Elena, also known as E-Bugs. May you never lose sight of who you are and what you love, regardless of external popularity. May you stay true to your heart and defend yourself to the bitter end. And I hope Elena, if she ever watches this, remembers to stay true to herself and to not let anyone dictate her interests. She has her special interests for a reason. She has her sensitive purpose for a reason. And it's up to her to nurture that environment and to have the shell of a Cancer, the wall of a Cancer is only necessary to protect that nutritious, nurturing space. But it's not to exclude, it's not to keep everyone out, it's not to enclose yourself in a dome. It's to honor yourself and welcome others into your world and heal them through example by showing them that it is safe to be who you are, to love what you love, and embody your fullness. So that is my story for Elena and my message to Elena. And I hope that message and story resonates with others. And so I would argue that this is more of like a feminine Cancer book, and I'm only mentioning that because a few books down the line I'm gonna bring up a male Cancerian perspective. However, I do feel like this is something that everybody can embody. I think even men, masculine energies, and all of the above can benefit from learning to honor their unique interests and sensitivities and learning the balance between sticking up for yourself defensively and protecting yourself in that sense. Yeah, with that, I guess thanks for diving into my weird world and where all of these weird tales come from. Every one of my stories is inspired from a being, a soul that I have personally met and interacted with that has impacted me in the most beautiful way. And I hope to equally impact them in a positive way. So if I could give any wisdom, it's not only to children that I know, but the inner child of those who needed this message at any moment in their life. So yeah, these are really special stories. So I hope you enjoy it. And I hope everyone enjoys the tale and the artwork that goes into it. there's definitely a lot of specific personality into the graphics and the colors that I chose, and that goes into more magic. So there's astrology deep within it, but there's personalization of every little detail that I put into the story within my limitations as an illustrator. So, yeah. So, anyway, thanks for listening.